Well, to anyone watching this, welcome to the Gemutlichkeit podcast. I'm Pastor Miller, and this is Charlie. He is about to be installed as one of our elders here in a few weeks. I got to just pick a date, and we'll go from there sometime in July.
Yeah.
But
Don't know how I managed that, but
yeah, you keep failing or falling upwards.
yeah,
right?
there you go.
Yeah, Sunday school teacher and elder. Eventually, maybe you'll follow your way to seminary. But
Oh man, I mean,
Yeah.
if I get that far, then someone failed somewhere along the line.
No, God does a lot of cool stuff through people falling upward. Yeah. So, what do you? I sent you a couple things to talk about. If you've never watched this pod before, it's Gemutlichkeit, and Gemutlichkeit is that feeling, that coziness of sitting at a table talking, eating, drinking beer, coffee, water, whatever, with someone, just having good conversation. And so Charlie and I are just going to talk for a little bit, and or maybe a long bit. I got nothing to do this afternoon except clean up around my yard, set out stakes. So thanks for joining. If you like it, if you like what we do today, hit like. If you want more of it, hit subscribe. And if you don't like it, hit the like button twice.
Hit the dislike button twice.
Oh, the dislike button twice. Yeah, don't hit the like button twice.
No, but the dislike, hit that one twice.
Hit that one twice, or 4 times if you really don't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, trying something new. There's a lot of Lutherans that are more and more online, and I keep looking at, what can I do? How can I be a part of this online community for people and to be present? And there's a lot of great teaching out there. Pastor Wolfmueller's got great stuff. Hooper's got good stuff. He is not LCMS, but that's okay.
We'll forgive him for that.
Yeah, it's not a sin. Lutheran Satire with Pastor Feeney, and lots of good ones. So I'm just looking for space here. And so if you want to come sit with us as we eat, pull up, you have some Lutheran lemonade with us as we, today we're drinking George Killian's Irish Red, established 1864. Pretty good. A little Monday afternoon beer to, celebrate the day. And Charlie's got the day off on Monday, so we get together and talk theology and all sorts of things. And so this is more of a long form podcast. It'll be available on YouTube, and I'll just take the audio and put it on Spotify and Apple and wherever else you find this stuff. So hopefully you enjoy it. But that's enough preambling. Let's actually get to some talking.
Yeah. So you sent me a lot of non-controversial topics. So I picked the least controversial one, which was
Synod politics.
Synod politics.
Yeah.
Or you picked it, and I was just like, yeah,
it was
let's
one
do
of
that.
I didn't think of it. The microphone's probably going to pick up some chewing.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry guys. Free ASMR, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Lutheran ASMR.
Oh.
Where a pastor sits, drinks beer, and eats a donut.
Oh man. I mean, there's gotta be someone's niche.
It might be ours now. What if we just did that?
No, I just I know it's not a sin, but something in me just
Something
says
gross.
no. Yeah.
I heard a pastor once, Christian combatives who I follow.
Oh yeah, what is it, Al Callahan? Or
I don't
whatever
know his name.
is? The Marine dude, right?
Yeah, I follow him on X, and then I follow him on YouTube.
Yeah.
So he's got great stuff too.
He does.
Another fella.
Been in some group chats with him before.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I responded to something you said on X last night. So anyway, he talked about how a lot of worship practices, and we'll get to the synod thing in a minute, but a lot of worship practices, people keep wanting to do modern things, like let's modernize the liturgy and whatnot. And he made a joke, if you will. He's like, let's modernize the preaching and let's do an ASMR sermon. And then when he did it for, I don't know, 20 seconds, and then he was like, do you think that helped the delivery of the word? Or do you think that hindered the delivery of the word?
I mean, I would say
it would hinder.
Yeah.
So a lot of practices, while they may be adiaphora and you could be free to do them, are they helpful in the proclamation of the gospel, or are they hindering?
Yeah.
And so,
That's a very abused word, adiaphora.
oh, yeah, which is actually part of the synod problem that we have right now.
Yeah.
I find a lot of pastors start and end the conversation of worship practices with adiaphora.
Mm.
They go, it's adiaphora, it doesn't matter, so let's not talk about it, and let's not discern and have a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate that because, I mean, while it technically might not be sin, which is where adiaphora is,
The best kind of technicality.
it's definitely not helpful
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time. Because you know, I'm not sure if the podcast knows, but I grew up in a much more American evangelical context. And for me, growing up, it was nothing but modern
Yeah.
worship. Some in those Pentecostal churches, I remember growing up in for the first part of my childhood, it was like super emotional, like hand wavy kind of music. And at the Baptist churches, my parents ended up going to after that, it was more reverent, and it was a nice production. I mean, with choirs and
Sure.
with guitars and stuff like that. Not as charismatic as you would see in a Pentecostal church, but still, it was all modern. And I became Lutheran in part to seek more reverent worship. I mean, like the biggest driver was the theology,
Yeah.
but the reverent worship was a big plus to it. And now, because of this whole adiaphora thing, there's a lot of churches out there that look just like the churches I grew up in, except they baptize babies. And it's like, well,
they're Linos, Lutheran in name only.
yeah, Linos.
Linos, yeah. Yeah, and it really goes to, there's a divide from, in the Book of Concord, there's, I forget which article, like, it's on the Mass.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, the very first line, they say, we faithfully retain the Mass.
Yeah.
Well, how much of the Mass has to be there for you to faithfully be retaining and reverently receiving the Mass? Like, if I'm leading a service and there's no confession absolution, is it still Mass? You don't have to answer that.
Yeah.
If there's no introit, if there's no readings, is it still Mass? And at what point is it still Mass and not Mass? Well, a lot of guys will go, the word works. So as long as the word's there, that's Mass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the, the folks you see that remove the altar, put a praise band up there, have, maybe they're in jeans or a sport coat, things of that nature. And they're like, the word works, which they're not wrong. The word still works.
Yeah.
The word works because that's what it does.
The word works because Christ works.
Right.
And they're Christ's words. So.
And that's what they lean on. Where the other side of it, the side that I fall onto, is let's be reverent and let's hold to what has been passed down to us from the word to the apostles and then the early church and so on, all the way down to us. Which is, again, why I think you're attracted to this congregation and Lutheranism, because of the history.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because when I transferred parishes, it was a distance thing. So
Sure.
it wasn't any problems with the particular congregation.
From Pentecostalism to Lutheran?
From Lutheran to Lutheran. Like coming into this parish
Gotcha.
specifically, or this congregation, and Pastor Dan, if you're loving, I still love you. But when I was transferring because of my move to a different city, it was like, well, I want something really traditional. I mean, if I get another whack at finding a congregation to be faithful to and serve faithfully in, I want it to be something in which I feel like the worship is what it ought to be, reverent and Lutheran.
Yeah.
Because and this is kind of what frustrates me the most with the modern worship stuff, especially when Lutherans adopt it. Lutherans aren't going to be good at it. It's not who we are. Like if you think you're going to out modern a Baptist or a Pentecostal or something like that, you're not going to do it.
My thought is always, if a church chooses to change their worship style, which it's on the pastor. If he feels that's what's best for that congregation,
Mhm.
that's his call. I like to ask the question, why? What is it that, like, what's the reason behind it? If we put a praise band up there, what would that make it more reverent, less reverent, the same? People can have different opinions, but whatever that is, I, as a pastor, would need to be able to say why.
Mhm.
And then if the reason is, well, I believe this is a faithful, this helps us to be more faithful, then okay, you might disagree and you can leave or you
Right.
can stay, that's fine. But if my answer is, well, I think it'll get the young people, that's a
And
problem.
it's a problem, and not only is it a problem, it just doesn't work because the young people
That too.
aren't going for stuff
I
like that.
posted a meme this morning on X, because I'm trying to be more active in Lutheran circles, and uh, I think that's a good thing to be bouncing ideas and things and reading what other guys are, saying and dealing with today. And the meme was the Simpson meme where he throws the guy out and then he appears behind him. I'll put it right here in the video. Um,
Oh.
he's in the bar and he throws out the drunk, the
Mhm.
guy, and then the guy like snuck around in the back and he's like still there.
Oh, yeah.
And Mo's looking out the front door.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know which one I'm talking about, yeah.
And in it was boomers throwing out the historic liturgy and Gen Z bringing them back.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's a lot of young men, especially, that I'm finding that are desiring of the ancient Christianity, the ancient liturgy. And it's mostly the older folk that don't want that.
Right.
And that's for a variety of reasons that we got to start unpacking some of these things. But
Yeah.
do you have any ideas as to why? I mean, I have several ideas.
I mean,
Like,
the historical context, because the boomers came from the greatest generation, which were the World War II fighters. I know because of American politics at the time. Uh, those people before the boomers were forced to kind of give up a lot of their heritage within German churches, because speaking German is the
the worst
language of
possible
the
thing.
enemy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that collective mindset, and maybe if you take it from that angle, it was just the continuation of a culture of change. We went from using German translated scripture to English translated scripture, and in doing that, we lost our use of the Apocrypha.
Yeah.
Maybe that just continued on for
Yeah,
some
so
time.
you're hitting some good points. I'd add, having a Seminex.
Yeah, yeah.
So for those who don't know, broad strokes, some heresies got into the seminary in St. Louis, and then the synod was like, "Hey, you guys gotta stop doing this." And the synod, uh, what's the word? Expelled the president or removed him from office.
Hmm.
The students were like, "Bring him back," and the synod said, "No, go to class." And then the students on February, I don't know, 12th or something in 1973, staged a walkout. And they walked out, pickets everywhere, big signs, big thing. You can find lots of images on it. Well, it was cold. They came back, had lunch, and they got their stuff and left. Well,
Yeah, eat
out
our
of
food
that,
before you leave.
yeah, out of that, that was like 80 or 85% of the seminary students at that time. They all went and formed what is now the ELCA. Um, and the pastors that were left faithfully served. Also, a lot of professors left at that time too.
Hmm.
Um,
Or they joined bodies which
they
eventually
left the
merged
LCMS. Correct,
into the ELCA.
correct. And so what was left then, a lot of the pastors were like freaking out, and the synod was like, "We just lost a ton of people. What do we do?" Well, they turned to church growth practices
Mm.
instead of staying with the liturgy. So the boomers at the height of their life, so to be a boomer, you'd have to be born between what, 59 and like 70 or something,
I thought it started in the 40s, but yeah, something like that.
45 through 60, whatever, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. Um, what age would you be in 73 if you were a boomer? You'd be in your 20s,
Yeah.
prime of your life, right? Well, that's what they were formed under, was the synod that was like, uh-oh, we gotta retain people. And it became less about being faithful to what has been done before and more, we don't want to close our doors. We got to get people. So then they started bringing in folksy sort of music. And praise bands became the thing. And a lot of churches started adopting that because they were being told this is the way forward. Well, now we've learned that this trend has not actually fixed anything. In fact, I would argue it's made things worse. But I wasn't around during Seminex, so I can't really say that. But from my perspective, we're not in a good spot with this division in the synod.
No.
And so, because of the loose understanding of what's retained in a mass, pastors were like, it's all about Jesus. Well, yes, but also like confess your sins, hear the words of absolution. And so there's lots of compromises, which the church I grew up in had a 8:30 traditional service and an 11 o'clock contemporary service. And that was confusing as a kid. Which one's right? Why are we doing both? Why are they so different? And that led me on a path towards American evangelicalism for a long time, well, in college, so a few years. And then I was like, everyone kept telling me to look in. I gotta do it myself. I gotta grow. And it became about me. And then I was like, something doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then I came back. That church got a new pastor, and then he did his best to restore some of that ancient Christianity. Got rid of the two different services and made it one. At first, it was blended, but so did you know that the district considers if you change anything about the service from the hymnal, it's considered a blended, even if you do it like if you remove one thing or have something different. So, like to say blended, you could be 98% out of the hymnal, but have one thing where it's different,
Oh, and then it's
and then it's automatically blended.
Okay.
And so that's more what that church is now. Praise be to God that they are working to focus on what's important.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these older folk are desiring a change because when they were in their 20s and 30s, they were like, hey, look at all these people. Well, society at the time was different. Everyone assumed to be in church, and there's a lot of nominal Christians, which we don't have as much now. And so they were like, oh, the music brought them. No, the culture helped, but it wasn't because of the music. Because if it was true, then contemporary services would be blowing up and traditional would be dead. But we've actually seen the inverse, as President Harrison has shared at the Issues Etc. conference a couple weeks ago now. The LCMS is starting to grow, and there's a lot of younger pastors and a lot of younger men like Charlie that are seeking the ancient Christianity. So, yeah, I've been looking at where I can get a cope. You know what that is?
No.
It's like
I'm not too
President Harrison wore one during what service was that?
It's not the pointy
It's a
hat,
cape.
is it?
It's a
Okay.
cape.
Okay.
Yeah,
Archbishop Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not get into the weeds of bishop and our ecclesiology, But so, anyway, all that to say is the point in a service is to receive what God has given you. And if a pastor feels, hey, the most important thing is for it to be relaxed, well, then he's going to have to stand before God and say, this is why I was in jeans and, was doing these things that the church hadn't ever done before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrified of that. There's scripture about if anyone should lead one astray, it'd be better for him to have a millstone tied around his neck. I had a church member at the last church bring in a millstone. Have you seen a millstone?
They're big.
They're huge. You're dying. If that's around your neck.
Yeah. Even without getting cast into the sea.
Yeah, you would just
done.
starve. And if I put a millstone around your neck right now, you'd just be in this room for the rest of your life.
The rest of my short existence.
Yeah, exactly. And you try to move it and it'd crush you. But so, yeah, I take God's word seriously, and I'm trying just to be faithful to what He has given. Now, does that mean that if you have guitars, your praise band, you're being unfaithful? No. But the practice tells the theology.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about guitars and pianos and churches too.
Mm-hmm.
it is very understandable that some churches have that because there is also an organist shortage as much as there is a pastor's one.
Yeah.
So if you can reverently pull it off and maintain the the liturgy faithfully, that's not what I would be
Right.
talking about with modern. Because I've seen
Correct.
churches do like beautiful services, but all they had was a piano,
And
and
because
it's
again, you can, as a pastor, you need to make those. If our organist died and we didn't have an organist, I'd have to figure out what we do.
right.
And if that means Charlie, if he has can play guitar and he can play, God's Own Child, and that's the only hymn he can play, I guess we're hearing God's Own Child 4 different times every Sunday, you know? Or my wife who plays piano. Like you can do those things, but the question becomes, is this the best uh form for the word? Is it helping the word or is it hindering the word? And I find the other thing we haven't mentioned yet is when you're in those contemporary types of settings. So a Lutheran church that has very contemporary, if you walk in there, you might not know any differences between a Lutheran church and a Baptist church,
Yeah, you won't.
you know? And so it's like sort of like a bait and switch thing, which seems disrespectful.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so you got that side of it. There was another thing I was going to say. About the services. Oh, if it looks like a Baptist church, looks like a Baptist service, sounds like a Baptist service, and you just have Lutheran on the door,
Some
it's
don't.
probably a Baptist church,
Some don't even have Lutheran on the
right?
door anymore.
And so it's like, what does it mean to be Lutheran? Which I think is the big thing for our synod right now, because they'll say, oh, it's full agreement with the Book of Concord.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, when's the last time these pastors have read the Book of Concord? When's the last time they taught their congregation the Book of Concord? When's the last time anybody in the congregation has even heard of the Book of Concord?
Right.
You know? So, like,
I guess my favorite comeback to all this is, well, the Book of Concord says we can have different expressions and stuff. We can have different traditions, but as long as the theology is the same, which by technicality is true.
mhm,
And but I always thought of that more in the sense of like general national culture. So a Lutheran church in Africa or in Eastern Europe is going to look very different than a Lutheran church here. Because there are plenty of Lutheran churches I've seen online in Ukraine, for example,
yeah,
that look like they could pass as Eastern Orthodox services. Or in Africa, they're more animated. There's tambourines and stuff
yep,
like that, and like there's nothing wrong with that. In that sense, it's like that's just the way the culture is. I'm not going to try to impose Western culture and the
just
organ.
German culture,
Yeah,
yeah,
or yeah, just German. I'm not going to try to impose that upon other people who have like never lived that way before. In that sense, if what the doctrine they teach is true and the services they conduct are reverent, then that's a legitimate
yeah,
difference in tradition and custom, as the book of or as the book of or the Augsburg Confession says. But I don't think that applies in a more American context because I don't within the culture of reverence that we have for our particular context. Um, I just don't think modern contemporary worship passes muster.
no, it. So I watched a video once about where these worship leaders, get trained and stuff, and there was a conference that they had where it was about creating emotional highs and lows, which they I've been to so many of these types of services. You walk in and the band's playing and it's like, oh, this is like enjoyable, and then they bring you all the way up and it's like, yeah, and people are excited and hands in the air, which put your hands in the air anytime. I don't really care. Um, but like they play certain music to build you up,
Hmm.
and then it's all right, now we gotta slow down. The sermon's coming soon.
Oh yeah,
Okay, contemplative. We got to start thinking about
emotional
these.
tuning.
Yeah, we got to bring it down so the spirit can work. And then the pastor comes out, and then the praise band guy gets up or girl and says, "That was such a good message. You know, here's my extra 10 cents on it, which I would just have a fit.
It's 10 cents now because
If
of
the
inflation.
elder got up after I got done preaching and said, "That was great, Pastor, but let me add my thought."
Yeah, not your
No.
place guy.
No, sit down. But so they are like, this is an extra thought, and then it's okay. Here's the offering, and then here's a little tune. Okay, offering's done now. Let's send them out. Let's send them out as fighters for the Lord and these things, and just build back up. So it's like two peaks.
Well, that's just their version of Onward Christian Soldiers.
It is. Well, yeah, which I like that. I like that hymn. We played it yesterday.
It's a good hymn. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's
Just emotional manipulation. Which
right.
When you look, where's our salvation found? Is it found in myself, or is it found in the object of our faith, Jesus Christ?
Right, which goes exactly back to like the law of prayer is the law of belief.
Yeah.
And to do all that, even if within your own mind you're thinking something different, it's expressing the fact that the validation has to come from within,
Mm-hmm.
which we as Lutherans know it doesn't. God works extra nos, works objectively
Outside of us.
Yes. So when Lutherans adopt such practices as to like the hand wavy, eye closey, kind of repetitive prayer stuff that you would see in a more evangelical church, it's not confessing with our mouths and our body what it is that we actually believed.
Well, so the Lutheran service is all about us dancing around the unseen. So when we have a service, we truly believe we're worshiping with all the angels and archangels, with all the company of heaven.
A proper preface, yeah.
Yeah. And so we are before the Lord. Now think of it this way. If you're before the Lord, are you going to stand up and say, "Look at what I've done, Lord"?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to like fall on your knees and be
Right.
like, "I'm a poor, miserable sinner"?
Yeah.
So if anyone tells me they're going to stand before the Lord, I'm like, "You're full of it, man." Because the God of all creator, when you interact with him, when he comes down for judgment day, you're going to stand up and be like, "Hey, I know my salvation's on the line, but look at what I did."
Yeah.
Like, oof.
What did Jesus say you do with people like that?
Yeah. He had some
But Lord,
strong words.
Didn't we cast out demons in your name and do all these mighty works? It's like, nope. Never knew you.
Yep. And so I try to lead people to a humble reception of the word. And I'm not the greatest preacher or orator. I'm not really anything special, but God chooses to use sinful men like me to further his kingdom. So praise be to God that he does that. And men like Charlie and other people in the church. Does that mean that God's kingdom cannot work within those contemporary circles? No. But are you losing people on the way out of the door in these contemporary circles? If you've got such a lukewarm Christianity, it's pretty easy, I think, to drift away. I know tons of people. The church I was in for a long time was very lukewarm, barely Lutheran. Maybe, I'll say Christian for sure, but not in a biblical sense. We had the pastor who, I went through confirmation, but I can't tell you one single moment I ever had with him as far as teaching or learning anything. He was distant, and he was very much from the hippie generation, all about love and these things. So yeah, God loves us, but like, why did Jesus die? Oh, I'm a sinner. It's actually pretty bad for a pastor to not tell people that. So anyway, we're bouncing all around. I got another thought for you, a little different, but sort of the same.
Okay.
I saw this morning. VBS. I'm not sure churches should do it anymore. In the form that you're thinking of. If you change it, we can have that conversation.
So yeah, because I used to volunteer at VBS when I was a Baptist.
It's very evangelical.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Baptists' Holy Week.
Oh yeah. VBS is a big thing.
Right. And it's very much let the kids come.
Just don't baptize them. Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't teach them anything that my church wouldn't teach them. Just let the parents view it as daycare,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, what's different from a Lutheran VBS to a Baptist VBS?
I've never seen a Lutheran VBS, surprisingly.
No,
No.
CPH puts out like you can buy a kit or whatever, which I've
Mhm.
done before. But it just feels, I know feels is such a evangelical term. I believe that VBS is, well, let's back up. Who generally is in charge of VBS?
Women.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the truth.
you got there way faster than I thought we were gonna have to like go back and forth a little bit. No, yeah, okay. So women, so it's almost like it's a chance for women to be pastors, sort of, and
Yeah.
to teach.
Which it always gets fuzzy around there
It
because
does.
the justification is, well, these are children that we're teaching, so the prohibition against having spiritual authority over men wouldn't apply to children.
It also, uh, men are working during these hours,
Yeah,
so then women are just naturally like, I have time, I can do this,
right.
which it's fine, but it's on the pastor to make sure that everything's done in a good order.
Right.
So it is very. I'm just thinking about it. We're not doing VBS this year because I started 3 weeks ago here. But I'm thinking whatever we do next year, we can call it VBS, but it's going to look not like a Baptist VBS.
Call it Uncle Luther's summer camp.
Summer camp would be great. Bible summer camp, BSC, no, something like that. Where, and having it be for 1 week, and families. I've heard so many families just schedule out, okay, we're going to St. Pete's first week in June, second week of June, we're going to St. Mark's, third week of June, we're going to so and so, and they got the whole summer planned out with VBS. And it's like, what's happening? And I feel like the word that was used this morning when I was reading about this was this is the golden calf of modern American Christians. Because if I went to many congregations and said don't do a VBS, they wouldn't be as receptive as what you are.
Hmm. Yeah, the golden calf bit's interesting.
And again, we're just communicating, talking. Like, calm down, people in the comments.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah, I think the Holy Week thing was definitely a very apt description. But then again, it's like now you got, planning all this stuff out over the course of a whole month is very Lenty, sort of.
you talking about the Baptists with VBS or with?
Yeah, or just anybody with VBS, because
Oh,
like
yeah.
then you get people in Lutheran circles that'll do the same thing. It's
Mhm.
like they put so much effort into that. But then I see when Lent comes around, a lot of people don't make an effort to really do much of
Imagine doing
anything.
a VBS during Lent. That's actually a great idea, I think. Do it on Wednesday nights, just every Wednesday night. Free opportunity for the kids, free meal for the parents, service for, you know, but then you got school and oh man, you can't interfere with baseball.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
Um,
But yeah, no. I mean, I only say that as an offhand comment because
so
it's like I mean, I make it a practice to try to fast during Lent,
yeah,
and last year I was very successful
how
in
much
my
you
goals.
fast?
I just follow the standard Western, absolutely no meat on Fridays
Oh,
kind of
so
deal.
2 back-to-back Lent, maybe 21, 22. I fasted no food at all of Lent. I
Dang.
lost 45 pounds both times.
There you go.
Gained it back. And I told my wife I'll never do it again, but I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, I might do that again. But it's tough.
It
It's
is.
not so fun. And that was before we had kids. I can't imagine cooking 2 meals a day for my family because I cook breakfast, I come to work, and then I'm home for dinner. So, on a normal day. But yeah, anyway, what do you think about the VBS stuff?
Beer.
No, just in general, what we've been talking about. Do you have more thoughts on it?
There's no way to avoid it having become a daycare. There's just not.
I wonder.
Especially in the middle of the summer. I mean, you could try to mandate parental presence or something like that, but
So if it's in the morning, you're not getting anybody,
right.
parents. If because in the evening you can get more parents, but then they view it as a
as an extra church service, essentially.
yeah, and I get to drop my kids off and they get to learn.
Right.
So we'd have to bridge a way to find a way to have the parents be more involved, because parents can bring their kids to me, but unless the parents are involved, I can only teach the kids so much.
I got it.
Parents gotta.
Here's an idea.
I love it.
Host a divine service right before VBS events kick off of the day.
Every day.
Well, every day that we do the VBS.
Yeah, if we do it like Monday.
So the expectation
Come to
would be come to service. Service only lasts an hour, and then you're free to leave as we take care of your kids and host water
sure.
fights outside or
Yeah.
tell them Bible stories, whatever
Yeah.
it is that we would do.
Mm.
I mean, that's one idea.
It is. I like the connection. I wonder if doing something like, so the problem with that is I might have people that are not my sheep that come, and then how can I have the sacrament when I'm not
Oh, that's true.
administering half of the people or admitting half the people? So maybe doing something like matins or vespers could be a,
Yeah.
and then there'd be
another way.
singing in there too. Yeah.
Not the worst idea.
No.
Because Matin and Vespers only takes like 15 minutes at
Yeah, it's
most.
very long.
No.
But I think tying it in with what we do on Sunday, like as a part of the service, would be a very good thing. Yeah. I've been thinking about adding a service. I've been here less than a month. I like Wednesday services. I gotta wait to see how it goes during Advent and Lent, because Good Shepherd and Christ have done. One will do like a noon service, right?
Mhm.
And one will do a 7. I like that idea where one church does one and the other church does
yeah.
the other. Because then, if people want to not drive in the dark,
Right.
come to the earlier one if they work like you.
Yeah. It's a lot less work on the individual pastors too, because having to run multiple services a day, it does wear on a pastor.
Well, and that's assuming that both churches have a pastor instead of just one guy going
Right.
between the two.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, because we did have a pastor that we had to share for a minute,
you did before me.
and he was the one doing the one-ins.
Yeah,
Oof.
Gets
Forgot all
tiring.
about that.
Yeah, Pastor Stork. Good job.
Pastor Stork, we love you.
watching
Thank
this.
you.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do another one, or you want to? Can you check to see, make sure it's still recording?
Yeah. Yep, 41 minutes in.
Oh, perfect.
Did you want another one?
If you're getting another one, I'll have another one.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
There you go.
Ooh.
For the audience back home, this would be absolutely verboten in the churches I grew up in.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, forbidden, because
Yeah.
I remember, I won't name the church I was in, but I grew up in Meridian, Mississippi.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I went to a big Baptist church in that town. There's plenty of big Baptist churches, so have fun figuring out which one.
There you go.
But no, so a bigger person inside the church, wasn't a pastor, but someone within the chain of command, decided that they were going to drink beer on their own personal time with some friends.
Classic.
I know, what a criminal, right?
Oof.
So they made a rule.
Was this you?
It was not me. I was like 13 or 14 at the
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Not that they care in Mississippi.
Was it on campus?
It wasn't on campus. I believe it was in his own house. But there were other people from the church who were also there.
So he had a gathering
He did have a gathering.
with beer.
Yes.
And okay, so tell me what happened.
So the pastor got wind of it, and it was kind of a whole, well, my daddy was a drunk, and alcohol ain't got no good for nobody kind of thing. So it's like he came down and told everybody that was like in some kind of position at the church. So not like normal, like average layman, but anyone who had any kind of official position at the church. So Sunday school teachers, office secretaries,
Okay.
junior pastors, deacons, youth leader,
Sure.
anything like that. He made them either sign a morality clause saying that they weren't going to consume alcohol, either on premise or in their own personal time, or step down from their position. And a few people decided to step down from their position, and it was a whole kerfuffle. And
If you ever have alcohol in your own home and I'm not invited, we'll have to have a hard conversation.
there you go. But no, and
How can
it's
that's
so wild. It's so wild because I'm friends with a pastor. Well, I mean, I don't talk to him much anymore, but I was friends with a pastor who works in the Assemblies of God, which is the church body I was baptized
Yeah.
in, Pentecostal. And at that church, everybody had to sign a morality clause saying that they weren't going to consume alcohol at all.
My wife, when she was at college, had to sign a morality clause, which fine. She was
I had to
not.
sign one too as a church secretary. I mean, like,
I didn't have to sign. I mean,
well, I signed
as a pastor, naturally, there's like things, read First Timothy and
Oh yeah,
epistles, but I didn't have to sign anything outside. I've never.
oh yeah.
Anyone ever came to me and said, "Here, you got to sign this"?
Well, yeah, but like,
I'm not hanging out with them. They don't
I
sound like much fun.
I worked at a Lutheran church, but the morality clause is very general. Basically, that you'll conduct yourself in a way that it's in accordance with Christian standards. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, alcohol's
Sure.
not a sin,
Nope.
and I drank beer with that pastor plenty of times. So it's like,
In
yeah,
church,
yeah, in church.
in a church, not in divine service.
Oh yeah, no,
In the building.
yeah, you do that. There's no helping you.
My second, yeah, that's, unless it's the wine. Um, one of my early questions to Lee, one of our elders, the head elder and chairman, he asked him, "Is there a rule about alcohol in the building?" And he and the other elder were like, "You're the boss." And I'm like, I get that, but like, is there a rule about it, like a governing thing? And they're like, "You're the boss."
That's so
So I'm like,
wild.
okay,
Because at my previous Lutheran church, the elders did make a rule against it, but it was for good reason.
sure.
Because there was a church outing where a bunch of people got roaringly drunk,
Yeah.
and it was because of an individual.
Understandable.
So sometimes I get it, but
You know,
yeah, here
I
I never heard of.
I brewed my own beer, which I want to brew some more beer.
Ooh, I
But
always want to get into that.
you can help me with it. I'll tell you when I'm doing it. It's gonna take me a little bit, but I brewed beer in 2016. I did it 4 times. I have not brewed beer since.
Oh, was it that bad?
No. Well, yes, but no. I forgot about it. I
Mhm.
moved, brought it with me, forgot about it, got married, moved, found it, forgot about it.
Yeah.
Moved again, found it, drank it. This was probably last year. I was like, you know what? 1 out of every 4 is drinkable. Moved again to my garage.
Okay.
Don't drink it now. It's not been cold
Ugh.
and it's been
Just
outside.
dump it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna need help dumping it. And when I do brew it, I've got one of those big brew things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we do it, we're gonna brew. That's probably 20 gallons.
Oh dang.
So we're gonna do a couple like kegs, I think.
There you
But,
go. I mean, that has to be super cost effective to
yeah,
if you're a regular drinker.
yeah. The problem is if it's bad,
Then yeah, you're stuck with it, or you gotta get rid of
then
it.
then you're like, I got to drink this bad beer again.
Yeah.
Just what
Yeah.
happened. But I've had it. 1 out of every 4 is drinkable.
1 out of every 4.
Yeah,
I mean, because
it's like playing roulette.
I feel like if you got really good at it though, you could like just start making the beers that you wish other people would make. Because then you could add different flavor notes, and then you could just try different things. Or if you get a recipe down really good that you like, you can even get licensed by the state and try
Oh.
figuring out how to start selling it yourself. Because that's how a lot of craft beers came to be.
If we started brewing beer and selling it, what would we call it?
Mm. Well, it's got to be something Lutheran.
Lutheran lager? Is that a thing?
Lutheran lager. We could just call it Lutheran lemonade, but then
Lutheran lemonade.
the state might come down and say this isn't lemonade, so you can't call it that.
Mike's hard lemonade.
Luther's hard lemonade.
No.
Nah, because Mike's hard lemonade is still lemonade.
Is there a theology like thing? Sola beer?
La beer.
No, sola.
Sola. Oh, sola beer.
Yeah.
What's the
Sola hops.
What's the Latin word for beer?
I don't know the Latin word.
Hmm.
Buyer?
But I know Bier is German, so it's the same word.
No. Anyway, I'd like to brew my own beer again. It was very fun doing it. I did it in my parents' basement. They were
In your
not.
parents' basement as a kid?
No, when I lived there, 2016, I was still with my parents.
Okay, yeah.
And then I moved 2017. And then 2.5 years ago, I moved back with my parents, my wife and daughters to fix up the house that I bought. And then we moved into the house, and then we moved here.
Yeah,
So
because I had made mention of trying to do something like that or mead or something with
yeah,
my dad, and my dad was like, "Well, there's a whole shed out there," and I mean,
do you guys have honey?
no. So the
Oh,
person who previously had the house did do honey. They also did maple syrup and all sorts of different
you
things
guys
there.
got trees
Yeah,
for syrup?
lots of trees.
I will come and help you make
I'll
syrup.
let them know.
I'll sit
But
out there.
no, but my dad did put up like make a plant a bunch of fruit trees everywhere. So he's got
Oh,
like apple trees going,
yeah.
peach trees, and I'm just like, dude, you get those
We
apple
could do
trees
hard
rolling,
cider.
yeah, because cider is a slightly different
Super
process than
easy.
beer, but
Yeah, it's
it's still
very
pretty
easy.
easy.
I'm not kidding. I'll do that.
We should. We
I'd like
should.
to um do something for our church. This church's 79th anniversary is in September,
Hmm.
and then the following year's 80.
80th, yeah.
I'd like to do something for the 80th as far as beer and making a whole.
Oh yeah. I'm
Hopefully
not
a
sure
little
if the
bit of
fruit trees
party.
will be ready by then
No,
because
no, no.
it takes them a long
I'm
time
just
to.
saying, like in general, I'd like to do something by then.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Figure something out to do. Yeah. So what other theological topics are
Oh,
plaguing your mind?
flagging my mind. Um,
Because I've been going back to synod politics for a minute. I've
mhm.
been seeing a lot of contentiousness with
Yeah,
this election, and as of speaking right now, we don't know who has won the election. I know
we
it's
should know by Wednesday or
yeah, 'cause
Thursday.
right now it's in their third round. In the
Yep.
last round, it was very, very close.
14 votes difference.
Yeah, so it was like 46.3 to 46%.
Yep.
Harrison being 46.3, Bierman being 46. And for the
Yeah.
people back home, the way this all works,
Back home,
or back home, at home, it,
you,
you.
for you people,
Yeah, no, not the general you, you.
you, yeah,
Um,
you person.
the way it works is every 3 years, I think it's leading up into the convention.
It used to be at the convention, but I guess that got too contentious
Okay, so
and
now
it took
it's,
too much time.
right.
So now they do it online and they do it before the convention.
Yeah. So every 3 years, um, the LCMS votes for our synod president, which is essentially, if you're Roman Catholic or Anglican or something like
Don't
that,
say it.
it would be the Archbishop of the
Oh, okay,
LCMS,
sure.
not the Pope.
I thought you were gonna say the Pope.
No, but the guy who is the face and heads the synod, and I would akin him more to like a parliamentary speaker, I guess would be the way to put it. He doesn't have
I
like
I
uber amounts of
I would
authority.
say he is more of a um represent representation of the synod and
Yeah,
less of the like he's not a dictator. He
no,
could just encourage people and
yeah.
if they
I
need
mean, he does have
votes on something,
authority,
he does.
but
It's
it's
not as much authority as you
limited.
might think.
Right. So like he can't just come down and tell our congregation that we have to do something a certain way because he
No.
wants to. That's not how it works. He can initiate processes for kicking congregations out if they're
Oh, if that's something you want to talk about, I think we have a pastor problem. But it's because we have so many, which is I can't. So many pastors don't want to talk about this.
oh, the pastor shortage
No,
or
because of the pastor shortage, there's bad pastors who are serving,
mhm,
and the district is like,
they can't
yeah,
discipline them like they
well, yeah,
should.
because it's like then we lose another guy,
Right.
and it's like, well, so the district, there's three ways to have a pastor. You can have a good pastor, right? Everyone wants a good pastor.
Right.
You can have a bad pastor. Nobody wants a bad pastor, and you can have no pastor.
Yeah.
But everyone would rather have a bad pastor than no pastor.
Well, yeah, especially in our context because know of congregations that have gone without pastors for years.
And right. And so it's like, yes, I understand that. But also, can we have greater accountability for these guys?
Right.
Myself included.
Yeah.
Like I'm
So
never gonna name names, but I just know of situations where it's like, this guy probably shouldn't be a pastor anymore.
name drops all the pastors I don't like.
I would not do that. I'm not gonna do that.
But
Because like they have to stand before God the same way I have to stand before God. But at the same time, for the betterment of the synod and the district,
right.
we should maybe say, hey, you're not fit to be a pastor.
Yes, I would say that. But I mean, like, and that circles back to the election.
Yeah.
So yeah, how did it work? Every 3 years we try to select a guy. This year there were 5 people on the ballot.
I think there's always 5.
Always 5.
But this is the first time it's been a runoff since 2001.
Yeah. So every previous year that Harrison got elected, it was pretty much first round settled.
It was first round settled.
And for it to be settled, you have to get, is it 50?
50 simple majority.
Simple majority. So basically 50.1, and then you're in. That has not happened this time. It's basically between 2 men. It's between Pastor
Harrison and Professor Joel Bierman.
Joel Bierman.
So Harrison has the administrative work. He's also still an associate pastor in St. Louis somewhere.
Yeah.
Bierman serves in St. Louis at the seminary, but he's been there 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, both of them confessional and missional guys.
Right.
I think that either of them would do a good job. Now, Harrison's been in the job, good and bad. Bierman has been a seminary prof, so you could be like, how much experience does he have in administrative roles?
Right.
In the synod? What about in the parish? Does he have that necessary? I don't know. I've read a good amount about him, but but then Harrison, the folks who would like him gone can say, he's been there too long.
Right.
Like a change.
And
like
that he is, going back to what we were talking about too, he is overseeing the major pastor problem right
correct.
now.
Well, and so that would be, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I could find myself voting for both of them or neither of them, depending on the day, because I have frustration with how many pastors were just like, are not upholding their confession.
Right. Because you swear to do
Right.
so at your ordination.
But they're not, the district is not like looking into and overseeing the pastors. They're just free reign to do whatever they want. So you get some wacky things. So like but is that Harrison's fault?
I wouldn't
Like
say so.
as a person, is that his fault, or is it more so he is just the head of the group that?
Well, he's the head of the group, and like I said, his authority is limited.
Correct.
But he does have a lot of sway with certain programs, such as the SMP.
He does.
And things that have been attempted, because it all ultimately harkens back to the shortage problem.
It does.
And you can have the good pastor, the bad pastor, and no pastor. Nobody wants no pastor.
Correct.
And since
everyone would rather have a bad pastor.
Yeah, and since there is such a shortage,
they're okay with bad pastors.
right. So one of the attempts at fixing this shortage issue was the SMP program.
Oh, by the way, I went through that.
Yeah, and my previous, well, not Pastor Harrison, the other Harrison, not the previous pastor. He wasn't SMP, but the pastor I had before that.
When did he go through Fort Wayne?
Harrison went through Fort Wayne.
No.
Oh, the other guy. St. Louis.
Gotcha.
So
anyway, I went through the SMP and then the alternative route, got all the right teachings and credentials. So
right, but a lot of people don't like that.
Correct.
And
I
it's
think I'm
really
the poster
stupid.
child for.
Or I'm about to let my opinion slip here.
It's fine. You're a beer and a half in.
Yeah, it's really stupid because I have known a ton of good people who went through the SMP program and who otherwise than a different educational route would be perfect men for the jobs that they're seeking. But for some reason, a lot of people are so married to this idea of the traditional MDiv route that you have to go and spend like 3-4 years in seminary and do all that in order to be qualified, that at some point they start putting restrictions on the SMP program because enough people who think that way make a big enough of a stink. and then it exacerbates
Yeah.
the shortage issue.
Well, so the S&P, when done in good faithfulness, is great.
Mhm.
I've heard of stories where pastors will sort of collect S&P guys like they're Infinity Stones and be like, "Hey, I need you. You should do this program," but really behind the scenes, the pastor can do less than because the S&P guy came in.
Right.
Or the pastor then is like, "Hey, we're a church sort of operating outside the bounds of the Book of Concord and our confessions, and the seminary won't send us anybody. And getting calls is difficult because we're operating outside the bounds. So let's just do the SMP and get a guy and form him ourselves to serve us."
Right.
That's wrong.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that's what people have the problem with in the SMP. Again, going to the pastor thing, or the good, bad, no pastor thing, if you just look at the pastor and be like, "Hey, why are you doing this? Is there really that need?" And getting to the root of that, I think would help.
Yeah.
Like, but until we have some frank conversations, because I felt weird, even I still feel weird. We haven't uploaded it yet. Talking about this, just about like there's pastors who probably shouldn't serve, and it's sort of like an unspoken thing or unwritten thing that you should never say that.
I
But
mean, it's true.
it's true,
Scripture has clear
right?
boundaries as to who and who
And
shouldn't
so there should
be
be
a pastor.
oversight,
Yeah.
right? And who is district and strict visitors doing that oversight? I hope so, but in my experience, they have not been.
Yeah.
The last strict visitor did a good job, but he was just he didn't want to be strict visitor. He was all the other churches. There was my church, or the church I served, and his church, and then the rest of them were all very, very small and either had retired pastors, like emeritus pastors, or no pastor, or like a vacancy. And so it was either me, who was an associate at that time, um, about ready to receive a call and leave, or him. And so he was like, "I guess I'll do it." Which becomes tough because it's like, okay,
Right.
so we got a pastor shortage. Pastors already do so much. Now we got to have him strict a visitor as well. And so, like, there's not a real good answer to any of this. In a
No.
perfect world, we'd all have more accountability and all would have good relationships, and pastors would be doing great. But it's sinful, fallen world, you know.
It is. And the
So
church is not immune
no,
to our inclinations.
it is not. And so, getting back to your point between Harrison and Bierman, some people view Harrison more as a change of the guard. It's sort of like, I know what Harrison is.
I mean, they view Bierman as the change of the guard.
Sorry, they if they remove Harrison,
Mm-hmm.
so Bierman, if they remove Harrison, it's we get someone new. We know what Harrison is. We liked him, but it's time to move on. And we don't know what Bierman is.
Right.
Some people like the mystery box.
Oh, yeah, because it could be the change that we all needed.
Right.
They could also be a disaster. You just don't know.
Correct. And so the people that like Harrison are like, let's just keep going. You know, I can fall into that camp. But then the other side is, well, let's have change. I could also fall into that camp.
Right.
So,
Right. I guess, man, my biggest lament over this entire thing with the synod is I've seen a lot of people come out of the woodwork,
mm,
both for Harrison and for Bierman.
yeah.
Because you're probably in a lot of the same Facebook groups I'm in. It's like, Friends of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and
Yeah.
LCMS groups and stuff like that. Like everyone's coming out and they're just like, oh, we can't elect Bierman. Bierman he's a total lib. And he says it. I'm just like, well, okay, what about the Eighth Commandment? I mean, I own a few of Bierman's books. He seems a rather fine fellow. And then on the other end, you have people coming out trying to do the Eighth Commandment policing, like Cooper. Cooper made a big video,
Yeah.
not a video. Well, he did interview Bierman recently in a video.
I watched that.
I didn't watch the full thing. I did watch his video on the whole AALC LCMS beef, but that's a different topic. Cooper came out with a Facebook post basically saying that like I've known Bierman to be a wonderful guy forever, and he was the guy that got me into CPH publishing and stuff like that when other people just didn't like Cooper, or
Yeah.
from Cooper's perspective, didn't like Cooper.
Yeah.
And so I've seen a lot of that too. And at the end of the day, I just look at it and it's like, well, Bierman seems like a pretty confessional guy. I
Yeah.
don't think we're getting the lib that they're fear mongering
They're
about.
not. They're not. The there's several groups in the synod, and there's guys who want to stick as close to the Book of Concord as possible, and there's guys that think it's a little more flexible than what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who think it's more flexible are throwing their weight behind Bierman,
Right.
and those guys all sort of raise eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like I was at a district thing once, and I didn't. I'm still learning about all these politics and groups, and I was talking to someone, and one of my buddies was like, "Do you know what that group's all about?" I'm like, "No." And he explained it to me, and it was one of those extra pastoral formation groups.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." They gave me a hat. I was wearing the hat because I didn't have a hat on, and we are outside, and I'm bald, so I don't want to get a sunburn because it was
Yeah.
July. And he was like, "That group is sort of contentious in the synod," and I was like, "Oh," so I took the hat off. But like, so there's just groups, and that the groups that are pushing for some of these alternative routes are behind Bierman because they know what Harrison is.
Right. They just want something
They
different.
want something different. I don't think they're going to get it in Bierman.
Probably not.
I like him. I've listened to him. He's great. Him and Harrison, either of them will do great. I have no problems with any of the 5 guys that were up there.
Right.
But there's people, and this happens any sort of election. People get it in their mind, oh, things will be better with this candidate. It's like maybe not. But in the church, let's just pray that God's will be done.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because nothing catches God by surprise.
Correct.
So, whoever wins, you pray for them, wish them the best of luck.
Yep.
And
I look forward to hearing lots of videos from them. District and Synod put out lots of videos on different things, and he'll either one of them will do good. Harris and I have met a couple times, and the mustache is great, but also he plays a banjo.
he does. He does.
I gotta pick something up. I got a harmonica at home. I should practice that.
I got a uke. But
A uke. One of my buddies who I went through the SMP program with asked me if we would run for district president someday. And I said, yes, I'll be your vice president. And he said, no, I'll be your vice president. And I'm like, I don't want to be a DP. And he's like, you'll be a DP. And I'm like, no, you'll be. Anyway, it was funny. Dan, if you're watching this, I still don't want to be a DP, which probably means I'll eventually get elected for it, or
there you go.
put on the ballot.
But those are the best guys for it. They're the people who don't even want it to begin with.
So yes and no. Like, if I don't want it, I can actually say no. But if someone puts my name forward and gets far enough, the thing is you have to start being out there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not even close to being out there yet.
Right.
I'm only known by like 30 different guys in the district, let alone the synod. So, and I'm not a politiker.
Political.
No, it's got the K in it. Politiker, I think. Politicking.
Mhm.
Politiker. Anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that being done. By the time you're watching this, it's probably resolved.
Or if it went to a 4th round.
That'd be exciting too. What else do you want to talk about? Probably been a little over an hour now.
It has been. I don't know. That was the one topic I semi-prepared for.
And if I was Senate president, would I have an answer to any of these problems? No, I would not.
I'm just saying, like, if some dude were to get on, CNN or Fox News or whatever, and just say, look, you know me, I never wanted this job. I'm only here because everybody else really sucks. And it's like,
I hope Bierman doesn't say that. I hope neither of them say that. The answer, unfortunately, is probably having more district workers. Like, but then you take a pastor out of the field to work for district. And there's already a position called the oh, what's the word for it? Um, district advisor, I think. There's a there's like four of them in Michigan.
Okay.
West, Northwest, Northeast,
And
and
then
Southeast.
Southeast.
And they go by regions, and so I haven't met the one over here yet. I think that's how it goes. Anyway, like that guy would have, but that's so much driving, and that's so much, you know.
Especially like because Michigan's a big state.
Well, and Michigan's the biggest district,
Yeah.
300, and I think 54
Dang.
congregations. It's probably a little bit less now because there's been a few that have closed in the last year. But I think that's what they said, maybe 349, something like that. Yeah, biggest in the synod. And so like Michigan could really throw its weight around because of Franken move in the
Yeah.
south or the eastern part of the state.
Yeah.
Very, very Lutheran.
Very, very Lutheran. And it's like there are more Lutheran states per capita than Michigan.
Lutheran
Sure.
states?
Yeah, or like states where Lutheranism is more prevalent by a percentage number. So like you go to like North or South Dakota, there's gonna be a bigger percentage of Lutherans, but
Yeah.
Michigan's got 10 million people, so yeah,
Makes sense.
doesn't shock me. I mean, like Lutheranism is a very Midwest
It
kind of
is.
thing.
There's hardly any in south or
No,
west.
in the town I grew up in, one Lutheran church,
Mhm.
just one, Trinity Lutheran, and that's on Highway 39, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna dox yourself.
I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so not a big thing in the South, I've
Yeah.
found. When I went to Texas a few times, I mean, there's a few Lutheran churches. I even found a Wells church while driving around. But
Well, and that's part of the issue is if we're just so Midwest and being so like there's a Lutheran church 10 minutes away.
yeah, there's one in Richmond too.
Yep.
And then
Which is fine, but like, I mean, I could see a synod president in 10, 15 years being like, hey, congregations, merge. One, that'll take care of the problem. Because a lot of people don't, or a lot of people say we don't have a pastor problem. They say we have a congregation property pride problem.
mhm.
Or because in the 70s, right before Seminax, or 73 actually was the high point, we were planting a new congregation at once every 3 days,
Wow,
LCMS.
it's a lot of congregations.
Yeah, and the generation of the boomers was boom, big, and so the generations following have just been smaller.
Hmm.
Oh, I have to sneeze.
Bless you. Or
Thanks.
Gesundheit.
Gemutlichkeit. That'd be a funny thing to say at Gemutlichkeit. Every time someone sneezes.
Gemütlichkeit.
Gemütlichkeit. Ah, Prost.
Tschüss.
Yeah. What was I saying? Once every 3 days, new LCMS church was planted. So that was 50 years ago.
Mhm.
A lot of these congregations now, don't have pastors, and they need to consider liquidating their assets and having their congregation join another congregation.
How dare you? How dare you?
I know, but until that we start having that conversation,
Right.
I had a call to a church in Michigan that went and visited, and they were this was about 2 weeks before New Baltimore called me, before you guys did. This was about 4 miles away from another Lutheran church that had just raised $10 million to build a new school,
Oh wow.
like new school building and whatnot. Because the area, there's like only one business. It's one of those, not a data center, like what is there? Forget, it's like a gas thing,
Okay.
but it's huge. So everyone works for this thing. So they raised all that money. That church is 4 miles away. And I received a call to the smaller church. And the smaller church, I asked them, what does success look like? And one of the guys goes, "It looks like having my funeral here."
Mm,
And I'm like, "This is not. That's like the mission of the church is not to have your funeral here."
right.
Um,
But
and
that's how a lot
that
of people
was
think.
it
This is the
is
chapel I received confirmation in.
yeah,
This is the chapel I was married in.
correct.
That graveyard is where 3 generations of my family are buried.
Correct. And so that church, I recommended to them, they talk about a partnership with a bigger congregation because I'm like, and oh, context, farms everywhere, not
Yeah.
a city, 4 miles away. So what that church ended up happening was there's a lot of farmers who went to that bigger church, but then they were like, we don't need to ride this far in horse and carriage. Let's plant a church halfway between where we're coming from and the church.
Right.
So church literally down a road, up a road, down a road.
Dang.
And I was like, no, because I said no to the call because I was like, I'd just be sheep stealing. I would spend so much of my effort in this tiny town,
Right.
which is already predominantly Lutheran, to just get sheep from that congregation.
Yeah. And you've heard of Redeem Zoomer before, right?
I was interacting with him this morning.
Oh, nice.
Next.
He's very contentious, and I don't agree with a lot of his points
Isn't he training to be a pastor?
in the PC USA. And
Oh,
his whole
okay.
shtick is anyone, because the PC USA is the liberal Presbyterians. His whole shtick is that no matter what, unless you're kicked out or threatened with violence or anything like that, you cannot leave or start a new denomination off of from the one you're leaving. So groups like the PCA or the OPC or more Orthodox
I hope he's
Presbyterian.
watching.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, good boy, do I that.
Charlie, did you get this right? You let us know, Redeem Zoomer.
His whole thing is, you can't, you should not schism from the liberal groups and start more conservative groups. But a lot of what he talks about is jurisdiction. And it's like, why would you found a church? And this is the part where I will agree with him more on. Why would you found a church that, there's already a church in town that shares your same confession and everything like that? Why would you found one right next to it?
Yeah.
And his gripe with it is the fact that like these conservative groups are founding churches next to the liberal churches, and he doesn't like that. But I mean, I would apply that within the LCMS. Why do we found churches here when there's already a church like 3 miles down the road?
Right. And that goes back to 50, 60 years ago. There were so many Lutherans, so many people, everyone was in church. They're like, we got to have these churches so close.
Right.
And planning a new church looks good. Oh, this community, look at this new church, so and so. Great. Okay. Now we got to close a bunch of churches because we don't have enough pastors for all these
Right.
churches. But then they hold on. And is that the best use of those funds? And then who's in charge of that?
Right.
The elder that is retired has to make these decisions. It's like, oh, this is not a good situation.
No.
But that's where Senator District could step in. But then on the flip side of it, if District comes to you and is like, you guys sell your property, you're like, but we're trying to be faithful to God here in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And like God's will might be for us just to wait and receive a pastor. That church that called me before you guys, I was their 10th call.
Dang.
Yeah. And they said that they didn't actually, they called me, but it was more of when they called the 9th guy, they also made an addendum that if he says no, they voted right then to call me.
Okay.
So it was my name and this other guy.
So they've streamlined the process because they were expecting.
Sure, but how does that make you feel?
Oh man. So I was the last option, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And I went there and I was trying to help them, but like, anyway, I hope that they're doing well, that are well enough. So very interesting stuff.
Oh yeah.
But until we start talking about these things in a hopefully relaxed, non-contentious environment,
And that's the thing too. Like sometimes you have to have painful conversations.
Mhm.
I mean, marriage is the perfect example of this.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've never been married, I don't know what the perfect thing would be, but I don't know. There's some kind of issue.
You got to talk about
You
it.
gotta, because a lack of communication just makes things.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem.
disintegrate.
So, like, you can look at the Ann Arbor situation.
Another contentious issue.
right, the district, not the district, it's complicated. The Concordia, Wisconsin merged with Concordia, Ann Arbor to help them out. Well, Concordia, Wisconsin, I think, just agreed to sell land of Concordia, Ann Arbor. Very contentious. The school's closing or closed down at this point.
I think it already closed. Like the convention we were at was, they had our convention and then they had the English district's convention.
And then that was it. They had no more classes after that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so they closed it down. It wasn't expressly communicated why. And so I've sat in lots of winkles and with lots of pastors who just were heartbroken about it. And the thing they kept coming back to was, why did this happen? And no one's talking. And can we get someone to talk about this?
Mhm.
And President Harrison just released something. If I remember, I'll put it in the comments or the details below. He had his understanding of what happened, and so he put that out. Finally, though, which that might be a political thing,
Right, because
Just the
we're well
unfortunate
past a
thing.
year, or we're a year out from that convention.
Yeah, but like, why didn't he put that out a year ago?
Yeah, 'cause
Why
it-
didn't anybody say anything when we were on campus? Why didn't the president of the campus come forward and say
Well,
something?
and it was so, because like Harrison came to the convention itself, the
was
district
there.
convention, and he was basically like, okay, let's keep the peace. I understand this is a hard topic to talk about, but we're going to walk together on this, and
Yep.
I'm hoping that we can all, engage with Christian charity. And then he didn't stay for the whole convention. So the next day it was basically a he said, she said,
Yep.
and there were resolutions where it was like, oh, we're going to have our arms wide open for when the other party repents.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you guys doing? And as a voter, it was really hard for me to make any kind of real decision on this. I mean, I can't remember what the resolution was. I think it was basically I voted for the one to where they would form a committee to investigate it, because it's like, well,
That might have been my circuit. I don't remember.
yeah, because like, what else am I supposed to do? I mean, there's nothing wrong with forming a committee. It is wrong to vote to say that people need to go to confession for what happened here.
Yeah, I think the point of that, if I remember right, they were looking for accountability, and I think it was phrased in a poor way.
Right.
But, because that's all people want in this life, is someone to stand up and say, this is what I did, I'm guilty. And that's what, Christ asks of us.
Right.
We're sinners,
Right.
Jesus Christ died for us. So yes, let's live in this confession. But when we get arrogant and we start doing he said, she said, or they said this, or why didn't they say this? It becomes a mess, and then we break the 8th commandment all over the place.
Oh yeah. And like at some points the church does need to step in and say to a particular sinner, like, we're all sinners, but to someone who's guilty of a particular sin, like, you need to repent. But we can't do that because we don't know the facts, because nobody has released the facts.
Right.
So why are we passing resolutions like, or are we trying to pass resolutions like this?
Yeah.
And thank goodness it failed, whatever it was, calling them to repentance.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't. Anyway, I wonder how much of the synodical, how much of that we can watch at the synodical convention.
Hmm.
Because the Sunday, or maybe the Sunday after, we're gonna do a Bible study and talk about some of what happened in the wider synod things and whatnot. But yeah, it's very, on one hand, so the administration that we have is good. I think Harrison said it best, where he said, this isn't the best it could ever be. Oh, how did he say it? But it's the best compared to all the other options
Right.
as far as our polity goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and we do well in most things. It's so slow, which
I mean, as it should
justice
be.
is slow,
Yeah, because you see a lot of groups like the United Methodists that had their big split,
so fast.
and it was so fast. Well, there was a lot of stuff leading up to it, but it was so fast. And then all the conservatives who tried to split found out that they can't just leave with their properties.
Yeah.
So
There's a church in that town I left that was going on.
Yeah.
It was not great.
No,
That was tough. Very,
it
very tough
is.
situation.
And yeah, and especially with like more top-down bodies
Yeah.
like the Episcopal Church or the Roman Catholic Church, there's really no recourse
No.
as far once the top guy says something, then
That's it.
yeah, that's it. So
Hmm.
our polity is slow, but yeah, sometimes you kind of want that slowness and you want the ability to put your foot down and be
Yeah.
like, well, because if we got a Senate president in one day that was okay with female ordination and stuff like that, that would be the day that I would really consider something like the conservatives in the UMC did.
Yeah.
And
Well, and some people are worried about a split in the LCMS. Probably not even in my lifetime. If it will, I'll be like 70, I think. Um, and if it splits, I don't even know what it would split. Like, what would be the
yeah,
dividing
it wouldn't be the
factor?
liturgy wars that we're going through right now.
No, it would have to be over the Book of Concord and those who view the Mass as something that is like minimalist compared to
Right.
people who hold it tightly. Like,
Yeah.
if a group came out and said, you know what, we're leaving the LCMS, we're forming the Church of the Book of Concord, I would understand that.
Right.
But that's not going to happen for a
No.
long time.
No.
Or the Church of the Augsburg Confession.
And but even if it got to that point, like for me to split from the LCMS, it would take it would take something big,
Right.
like female ordination or acceptance of homosexuality. At that point, I would start considering
We're nowhere near that.
no, no. So yeah, and like, within Lutheran culture, I mean, we can gripe about the liturgical
Mhm.
differences all day long, but we have a big tolerance.
And Harrison said it best. We're 98% on the same page.
Right, right. Lutherans
Yeah.
are much more like stark matters of doctrine
Yeah.
kind of splitters. So, like when Wells broke off from the Synodical Convention, it was because of us cozying up to theological liberals. So that's what caused that. It wasn't liturgical differences.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no synod split for a while, but
Not for a while, hopefully never. But synods, if you've ever looked at the history, I maybe have a graph I can put in now, but I'm gonna have to do some editing. But
just making more work for pastor.
making more work for myself. Synods formed because they were like, we need to share resources. So, there was lots of small little synods, and then they were like, oh, let's, join together with bigger synods. And then they joined together. And then, because I'm going to get it wrong, but the LCMS used to be the Lutheran Church of the Missouri, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania district or synod. Like there used to
Easy
be
to forget, a
several
lot of
states.
words.
Yeah, I don't even remember it, but it used to be several states names.
Mhm.
And then they at one convention were like, no, what's the first one?
Missouri.
Okay, let's just do that. And so they lots of merging and some splitting, and that happens because we're in a sinful, fallen, broken world. But we wait patiently for God's kingdom to come to us, and He comes to us in the Word and Sacrament. And when Jesus comes back, we'll all be united in the one true church, where the
Yeah,
word
the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. I'm
where the
joking.
Word and Sacrament is faithfully proclaimed. And I don't want to play games with the Word or Sacrament, so I do everything I can to uplift it, and as much as I can, point people to it. Some churches minimize it, and I'm like, that's getting a little dangerous game. Let's focus on that which has been given to us.
Yeah,
What'd you think of this?
I liked it.
Yeah,
I think it was very, it was thorough. A
good.
little disorganized.
Fine. I think that's how most after service beer drinking is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfectly organized. It's
No.
sitting talking about all sorts of things in life. I don't know how to end it.
Hmm.
I just,
Never thought we'd get this far.
yeah, I thought we'd just sort of die before this happened. The Lord would take us home.
You know what would be funny? What if we
It
just
wouldn't be
like kept
funny.
on talking and then like you cut the video abruptly during the
could do
end
that.
conversation and just put Lafine or something like that?
Fiend?
Yeah,
Oh, like the
Lefin.
fin, like it's finished.
Yeah,
I could do that.
that'd be funny. and then like
How
followed
about
by
this?
there's
You
nothing else.
tell me if you describe a couple memes to me, and I'll put them right here, and then
Describe a couple of
like your
memes.
favorite. Do you have a favorite meme? That's
I don't think I have a favorite.
do you have a meme you looked at this morning? That. How about this? You send me a meme. I'm gonna put it right here, and now the screen's gonna go black behind the meme, and it's just gonna have our voices, and then it's just gonna cut out
There you go, just abruptly.
very abruptly, and then
I
it'll
love
say
that.
Le Fin.
It's like the car driving and then just that's it.
Exactly. Boom.
Or maybe a car crash noise would be even funnier. Yeah. Just the black
Maybe.
screen with the car crash noise.
Maybe. I enjoyed this. This was good. We'll see. We can do this again next week.
Yeah.
Um,
I think my day off next week is Tuesday.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right. So I'll let you
we'll
know.
text about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we already said goodbye. All right.
All right.